There's a lot of things you can easily distinguish just by looking at them. But when it comes to resolution, can you really see the difference between 4K and 1080? I wanted to put that to the test and find out for myself, so I shot a bunch of clips mixing together some 1080 and 4K videos, and I wanted to see if I'd be able to tell the difference without, of course, looking at file size and the other details. And I'm curious to see if any one of you who's watching this video would be able to tell the difference as well. So I'm gonna play you those videos now and try and guess which one was shot in which resolution. What do you think? Did you notice any difference? Were you able to tell which one was 4K and which one was 1080? Now I'm gonna play those clips back again, and this time I'll tell you which is which. And try and see if you got it correctly. Technically speaking, 4K packs in so much more in terms of size and resolution. A 1080p clip is around 1920 by 1080 pixels wide, while 4K is about 3840 by 2160 pixels wide, which makes it almost 4 times bigger than a 1080p video. So you'd think there'd be much more of a significant difference in terms of image quality, right? But honestly, after watching these videos, I find that not to be the case at all. I mean, sure, 4K looks better. There's a little bit more detail to it, especially if you look closer. If you factor in the fact that this video that you're watching right now, I uploaded in 1080p to purposely give the 4K videos even more of an advantage over those videos that were shot natively in 1080. Because when you shoot in 4K and you upload in 1080p, essentially what you're doing is you're taking that higher resolution, that bigger frame, and squishing all of that information into a smaller 1080p clip, which is supposed to result into sharper, higher quality images. If you think about that and you look at the videos, it feels like it's still pretty close. They're too close to tell apart. And if you add to that the disadvantages of shooting in 4K, like the bigger file size or the fact that you'll need a more powerful computer to edit them on later, your battery runs out so much faster, your storage space runs out so much faster. If you think about those disadvantages, it kind of feels like it outweighs the advantages of shooting in 4K. But don't get me wrong though, I'm not saying to not shoot in 4K or to ditch it altogether, because there are in fact times that I do choose to shoot in 4K. And here are a few reasons why. First, I can take this clip, zoom in, and crop into a different angle, simulating a secondary camera. And this is great if you're using just one camera and you kind of want to introduce different angles, a variety of shots to add production value to your shoots. Next, I can also introduce some sort of camera movement. We can mimic a dolly for some push-ins or a slider for some left to right movements, giving your video a much more dynamic feel to it. Another reason is when I know that I want to zoom into a shot to see even more detail, kind of like using a macro lens. And this is especially true before I purchased a set of macro extension tubes myself. Because when you shoot in 4K, you can actually zoom in 200%, even 300% without fear of losing image quality. Overall, I'd say shoot in 4K if your camera or smartphone allows you to do so. If you have a powerful PC, extra batteries, lots of memory cards, then why not? Because at the end of the day, 4K does give you a better quality image. And it also gives you a lot of creative options that you can play around with, which is extremely helpful later on when you're editing. But if your phone or camera doesn't shoot in 4K, then I don't think you should feel sad or feel the need to immediately upgrade, because as you've seen, especially if you're not watching on a 4K screen and you're watching on your smartphone, which majority of the people who watch YouTube videos do, the difference in quality is just too close to tell. I mean, 4K does look better, but I feel like you're really not sacrificing a whole lot in terms of quality. It turns out 4K isn't some sort of magic bullet that automatically makes your videos look so much better. There's a lot more that goes into image quality, like sensor size or bit rate, your lighting, or screen that you're watching your videos on. And this is good news because it means you can take your 1080p clips and easily make them just as good as a 4K clip if you know what you're doing. There's a quote that goes, if you can't make a good video in 1080, don't expect to make a great video in 4K. And I've always kept that in mind. I hope you got a lot of value out of this video. I hope you enjoyed this little experiment. Were you able to tell which one was which, or do you think I'm wrong? Don't hesitate to let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, thanks for watching.